bring the funk, bring the noise. Actually, legally, we can't do that because this is the noise cancelling podcast, so we can only bring the funk. So apologies for those looking for noise, not here. This is the noise cancelling podcast. We are many people talking about tech, and we are very tired. Let's find out who's tired on this podcast. Sherri, kick us off.
I am Sherri L. Smith, editor of Laptop Magazine, and I am tired as hell.
I am James Peckham, phones editor for TechRadar, and I'm just as tired. I'm gonna say I'm just as tired.
I am Sean Riley. I'm a staff writer with Laptop Mag, and I'm in there somewhere. Maybe not quite as tired, but not great.
I mean, sure, why aren't you as tired? I mean, I haven't even said my name, which is Gareth Beavis, editor-in-chief of TechRadar. But why aren't you as tired?
I got a shot of sleep last night, so that really helped things.
Boo.
So if you haven't been paying attention to tech this week, in which case this podcast is probably going to be quite useful for you, actually. As long as you are interested. If you're not interested in technology, then just skip to another one. There's loads of great podcasts out there.
No. Don't listen to him.
If they don't like tech, they're not going to enjoy this.
This could be the podcast that turns them into a believer.
It's not going to be. The reason that we've been so tired is because everything has happened this week that ever existed in the world of tech. So first of all, we had launches from big phone manufacturers. We had the world's biggest company-ish, well, two of the world's biggest companies doing things we all had to really pay attention to. Upstarts fighting, cameras launched, so many things we're going to get into. But before then, we are going to go into, this week, I'll be honest, a quite improvised podcast because we didn't have time to have a proper production meeting. So big question this week is, if you saw a bear and you had one piece of tech to stop it from eating you, what biggest piece of tech would that be? Pexy, go.
One of those, what are they called? The singing fish things on a plaque. I'm going to throw that the opposite direction. The bear will fall for it, thinking that it's a real fish and I can get away in the opposite direction. Correct answer.
Even if it doesn't think it's a real fish, it'll be like, well, this is great. This is going to catch on.
I can't remember what they're called. Is it Billy? Is it Billy
Big Bass?
Billy Bass.
Billy Big Bass. Yeah, that's what it is. Thank you very much. Yeah, I'll have one of those, please.
Great. Sherri?
So it can't be the gadgets that were made to repel bears, like bear spray, huh?
Also, I'm going to change it. Yours is a moose.
Oh, well,
Sean can't even guess what animal he's going to get.
I'm going to throw something like a portable speaker, and I am going to have it playing a predator that it would be at least a little startled by.
Like a bear.
A bear, maybe a pack of wolves, something like that.
So I'm like, the moose is coming towards your charge, and you're like, wait, just gotta get spotted for that. Wait. Just gotta connect. Wait, there we are.
I'm like, listen, I didn't say it was gonna be practical.
You might still die, but I mean, at least you've gone out fighting. Yeah, Sean, your facing an electric eel. What are you gonna throw at it, and what's it gonna do?
I don't like the situation I've got myself into. I don't really want anything that is going to also electrocute me, or that's going to kind of not really serve the purpose. Maybe just an unplugged HomePod. Those are nice and big. I could chuck that at it.
That works. I feel it's quite hefty. It's got one right next to me actually.
And you can't lift it.
Oh no! It started making noise. It started playing. Shit! I just lifted it and it made noise. I need someone to come up with an animal for me. I can't do it myself. That's cheating.
Oh, like the jogger in Utah this week. A cougar is coming at you. A mama cougar.
Well, I mean, that's unfortunate because I am catnip to mama cougars, so I'd have no chance. When I was growing up, when I was a make it sound like I was preyed upon. No, but like when I was growing up as a teenager, no girlfriends whatsoever because it wasn't happening. But all of their mothers were like, "Oh, you should go out with Gareth. He's a lovely boy." Didn't go down in my favour, unfortunately. So
no one wants to hear that from their mother.
No, not really. But I was a teenager. Big hit, with the wrong demographic back then. So I'm assuming that's still the case now. So,
but what about the real cougar?
The real cougar, I don't know. A VR headset. They've never seen them. They would get one on. They'd be like, "What is this? This is the new world." Distracted straight away.
Brand name?
Pardon?
Which brand?
Cosmos. 5 Cosmos.
Okay, cool.
The biggest and the clunkiest. Yes, that makes sense.
Exactly. See. And actually, Cougar's necks are very underdeveloped, so it just fall to the floor and couldn't get up. So it's fun. Right, on to things that have happened this week. So much stuff. So let's begin with the iPhone 12, among 4 other things. So very quickly, Apple decided, you know what, let's have an event on the 13th of October. Usually fine, even though it's a month later than normal, in which unveiled 5 things. Which was the HomePod Mini, the iPhone 12, the iPhone 12 Mini, the iPhone 12 Pro, and the iPhone 12 Pro Max. I remember when we had the iPhone 3G, and that was weird. Pexy, what did you think? Which one of these devices caught your attention as phones editor of TechRadar? Say the HomePod. Go on, for Knowles.
I think it's probably the Mini. I think that's the one that actually excited people in terms of like bringing back that name and people wanting smaller phones at the moment. The Pro and the Pro Max obviously look like their best phones, look like Apple's best next lot of phones, but there's not a huge amount upgraded there. I think the Mini is the one that's sort of inspiring people a little bit. Also, it's the world's smallest and lightest 5G phone because the entire iPhone range now, the entire iPhone 12 range has 5G compatibility. So that's a big bolster for it. There's not a huge amount of upgrade here. It's A14 chipsets, so more powerful chipsets in all 4 of the phones. The Pro series have a LiDAR scanner on the rear. It's not the biggest upgrade that we've ever seen to iPhones, but but we've got 4 new phones from Apple, and that's always going to be a big deal.
I mean, one thing that Apple is making a big deal of is the ceramic shield, which it says is 4 times more durable than any kind of glass. In fact, it doesn't even count as glass because of the process that's gone through. So nanocrystalline structures inside that are designed to make sure that this iPhone will not break 4 times less likely to break if you chuck it at the floor. Sean, do you own an iPhone? Do you own an Android phone? What kind of man are you? Like, what kind of phone owner are you? Sorry.
Yeah, typically Android. I have a Pixel 4 XL still, actually. So I have many iPhones around the house. The rest of my family is pure Apple, so it's just me. I'm the lone Android in my household.
I thought you're just really affluent. You're like, got loads, don't ever use them. Just buy them on a whim. And do any of these iPhones attract you, or are you going to stick with the Pixel?
I will probably stick with Samsung is kind of tempting this year. They've got some interesting devices, but I'll probably stick with Android. I would agree. I think the iPhone 12 Mini is probably the most interesting of the products, although the Max seems to have gotten far and away the most upgrades this year, kind of leaving the rest of them behind more so than in the past. But yeah, the Mini's interesting at that size.
I mean, Sherri, I'm going to guess that you are not going to want the Mini.
No. Why? It's so tiny.
Some people like that. Some people like that.
I mean, I think you're right, Pexy. I think this is going to be the big selling phone because it's cheaper. It's got all the power of the iPhone 12. You know, the sort of the main device, if you're going to call it something there. And the iPhone SE, which we saw before, and the new one came out. They are really popular devices. It's not just because they're cheaper. It's because they're literally more palm-sized, and with this sort of screen pushed to the edge, Apple has given us that kind of the budget phone that people have been crying out for with the flagship specs. So I think it's going to be a really interesting proposition, and it's surprising, or is it surprising, that the iPhone 12 Mini and the iPhone 12 Pro Max aren't coming out till November, thus giving people a chance to go for the phones that people might be more interested in. We saw it with the XR, which was delayed a little bit, which is actually probably the best phone of that range when the XS range turned up. So I don't know whether Apple's delaying it because of COVID, which is what it's saying the reason is, but I think it's an interesting marketing ploy as well to have them 2 delayed away.
I was really surprised by that as well, because all the rumours leading into the event were that 2 phones would be coming later in the year, but we thought that was going to be the Pro products. So we thought the iPhone 12 Mini and the iPhone 12 were going to be the ones that came out initially in the next couple of weeks, and then we'd have to wait until November for the Pro. To go for one Pro device and one standard device at the same time is quite a confusing thing for the consumer, really. It's a little bit harder to follow, I think, for the average person.
And let's pose a question to the group here, because every time Apple launches, it's got the iPad Mini, it's got the iPad range, with the iPad Pro now. It's got the iPhone range. We've seen the iPhone Pro for a while now coming out as well. And when you see the marketing, when you see them launching these devices, they make a good fist, Apple, of showing why it should be Pro. So it's for filmmakers, it's for those that need that pro-grade camera on the go. For the iPad Pro, obviously there's a lot more. There's microphones for recording, for podcasters or for audio, and there's that much more power for graphical designers, etc. You can kind of understand it with the iPad, but with the iPhone, is that camera upgrade, the fact that you can edit Dolby Vision on the go in 60 frames per second at 4K. Is that the kind of thing that makes it pro, or is it just there for having another phone to sell to people who want just the best thing and they can charge loads of money for it? Sherri, I feel like you should take this one.
I would need to see this in action. For lay people, like I love all the bells and whistles, and if I were an iPhone person, just on the strength of the build quality and things of that nature, I would want this phone. But I'm not sure that I would be using those pro tools. It sounded really interesting. It looked really interesting on the virtual press conference, but I'm like, would I ever like, maybe I would use this because we are, shooting product videos and photos at home, so maybe this would be of benefit to me, but I would have to really see it in action. And on top of that, I would actually have to be able to make it work, because there are plenty of great camera phones out here and my photos still look like crap. So I'd really have to see.
Yeah, and I feel like what hasn't really been talked about is how the iPhone 12 Pro and the iPhone 12 are going to be that much different. Both using the A14 chipset, both seem to have a similar design, as it seems. And obviously the iPhone 12 Pro Max has got this extra, much larger sensor, so it can absorb in more light and take better pictures and all these kind of things. So what's the 12 Pro going to do? I assume it's got more RAM, so it's got a bit more beefy power underneath. I'm not sure. I haven't checked the specs of that. Apple would never publish those kind of things.
No.
For now, I don't think so.
Storage sizes, for example, there's a 64 gigabyte iPhone 12. It starts at 128 for the Pro series. You can get an iPhone 12 with 128 gigabytes, but you're going to be spending a bit more than the base price.
Yeah. And Sean, did you watch this launch? Because everyone was doing lots of things at once.
Yes, I did. I watched it. Yeah.
And so, HomePod Mini, did that attract you as a man who likes to litter his house with Apple products?
I have, I think, about half a dozen Google Home Nest now mini devices around my house. So I've kind of thrown in with Google on that. I use it more for the assistant features, so Apple has never been that appealing on that side of things. But no, I probably won't. It's certainly more intriguing than the $350 HomePod was when it launched. So I'm sure it'll do better. But
yeah, it's an interesting ploy, isn't it? Because $99 for the HomePod Mini is a cheap device if you're an Apple fan. But then it's going up against Whisper It Quietly. We just had seen Amazon Prime Day, and it was $18.99 for an Echo Dot, which is ostensibly, if you're just there to make this kind of voice assistant enabled ecosystem, that does the same thing. But Apple's saying, this is the best sounding device. This has got, Siri, which can flow through so many more devices in your life, which, kind of true, I guess, especially compared to Alexa. You've got CarPlay, you've got Apple Watch, you've got AirPods, you've got blah, blah, blah. You've got so many things, so you can do something. If your house is Apple enabled, like yours is, Sean, apart from you, the one holdout, you could do an intercom situation where you can say, I don't know what you would use it for, really, because the examples they use are like, pizza's ready, and then all the kids with their AirPods on heard it and got up and had their pizza. I'm saying, like, get some discipline for those children. You take your AirPods off and you come down to dinner right now. That's what I say. But
eat your pizza and you get some dessert.
Yeah, take your AirPods off and no pizza for you. But, the idea that it's all interconnected and that ecosystem is higher is, I think, what Apple is hoping will push this forwards. So, I mean, is there anything that could ever make you switch from the Google, or are you too embedded now if you've got more than one Nest/Home Mini?
Yeah, I mean, that's the hard thing. I have, basically whole home audio with a Nest device in virtually every room of the house. So, I mean, it would be a significant switching cost to go to, an all HomePod Mini house.
I mean, tell you one thing that came out after the HomePod launch itself, or the whole iPhone launch, was the fact that we talked about the HomePod. It's a very expensive device when it came out. It has dropped in price since then, and we've been wondering where the upgrade has been, and now we know where it is. But weirdly, Apple is upgrading the old HomePod to allow it to do Dolby Atmos, so it can function as a stereo speaker in your living room. And if you connect it to an Apple TV, it will play out in Dolby Atmos, because it's got these 360-degree beam-forming drivers on the outside that can fire out and find out exactly where you are in the room, so it works out the space that's around you. And so it can give you this virtual surround sound situation for free. So if you've got two, you've basically got a Dolby Atmos virtual system ready to go. And I'm like, why is Apple doing this now? It seems like such a strange time to do it. But we've just seen Dolby Atmos come in terms of spatial audio on the AirPods Pro, so maybe it just forgot that Dolby Atmos was a thing, and they're like, oh, what can we do with that? And just chucked out loads of stuff.
Is that also a sign that HomePod 2 is probably going to be a little while away as well? That seems like the sort of feature you would hold off and keep for a HomePod 2 if it was coming anytime soon.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, but then we thought the HomePod 2 was going to come 4 or 5 years ago or something, whenever it was, and we've had the HomePod Mini instead. So, right, I think we need to move on because I can't wait to talk about Amazon Prime Day. Our producers put in our notes, did it live up to the hype? Is it actually a Black Friday competitor? I don't care. Like, I am so tired of bringing our readers lovely deals, of which I'll admit there were some good ones this year, and it is really gratifying when people do buy stuff they help.
It's been 84 years.
But I was going through this morning and clearing out all the old deals on our extensive hub, and watching things go back up again in price. It sort of made you realize, okay, it was nice to have that window and to be able to kind of present what's being good. But my God, there's just so much. There's so much. Like, it's so hard to cover it all. Just gonna leave that hanging and see what happens to the room.
Inside a montage in a sad song is playing for me. Typically I do the graveyard shift for Prime Day because I'm naturally a night person, but I do need the time to recoup, and I have not had that time to recoup. Night shift for us is midnight till 8 a.m. So it is 10 a.m. I've gotten about 2 hours of sleep, and this is my third day running this shift, so my body is like, I'm feeling all the effects. Like, I've had to stop myself from not passing out on this podcast. You're basically getting the last bit of my strength before I need to look at. I didn't even. Let me tell you something. You're very lucky that my alarm went off. I forgot that we were supposed to be doing this. I woke up on a happenstance. I was like, oh yes. Oh yes, we're supposed to be doing this, but otherwise, if it hadn't gone off, I don't know if I would have made it.
I mean, I feel like someone should have told you that Prime Day finished at 3 a.m. in New York. I mean,
oh well, no, I knew that, but clean up.
Okay, good.
Clean up, and starting to launch Black Friday pages and the Prime deals you can still get. And things of that nature, because it doesn't stop once Prime Day is over, especially now that it is in October. When it was back in July in its normal time, when it was over. But no. Now we just roll into the holiday season, and it's a never-ending cavalcade of deals, because now everyone is on the bandwagon. Now it's Walmart. Now it's Target. Now it's the vendors. Everyone's going to have some type of deal until Black Friday, and we're not. So that's a month of us just stressed the hell out with more product releases, and God forbid if you have a gift guide coming, because everyone's sending their gift guide stuff out. Hey, are you doing a gift guide this year? Can I recommend this? Hey, are you doing a gift guide this year? So like, and people are like, Sherri, how do you keep smiling? It's like, well, I smile to keep from crying. That's how it goes. Like, I smile to keep from crying, and in the background, little Orphan Annie is singing "The Sun Will Come Out Tomorrow," and I just shed one single tear, hopeful that is true.
I mean, I don't want to tell you that Walmart has just announced 3 Black Fridays.
Yeah, I saw. No, I saw.
Okay, phew. Okay, good. Like,
no, no.
It would be a good podcast audio if I saw a breakdown in real time. But yeah, it's been a crazy one. I mean, Sean, how many have you done of these so far?
How many? Well, this was my first.
Was it?
This was my first with laptop. So yeah, I hadn't experienced the full. I really am just to say I had never experienced Prime Day in any meaningful way prior to this, because I did not work anywhere that was going as hard at Prime Day as laptop.
And Pexy, did you see any good deals this year that you thought were actually very decent?
Personally, I didn't buy anything, and usually throughout these periods, I end up writing so much about them that I'm like, yeah, that is a good deal. I will buy that myself. Yeah, I honestly didn't see anything that was worthwhile for me. That doesn't mean there wasn't much. Obviously, I was focused on iPhone stuff this year. But yeah, no, there was some relatively good deals, but I think Black Friday is when the actual good stuff is probably going to come around.
There was in America. I saw the Sony. Oh, come on, Gareth. The WH-1000 XM4s.
There you go.
Well done.
Under $300 with a $25 gift card. That excited me a lot. Didn't buy them because I live in
Yeah,
England.
you
but,
can't buy them.
no, yeah, I know, but I'm a global editor in chief, Pexy. I'm here for everybody. But I did buy. I spent quite a lot of money. A third of which I spent on household cleaning supplies. So I bought a lot of toilet roll in case there's another lockdown. 72 rolls coming this way.
You're part of the problem.
No, that was one lot. It was an offer. They can't put it on offer and then say you can't have it because it's panic buying. That doesn't count. I didn't buy multiple versions. I bought one big job lot. I bought a 6-pack of cleaning wipes. I bought multiples of this really good kitchen roll, 3 toilet brushes, and some bleach.
And a partridge in a pear tree.
And then I also bought a monitor stand and a Hoover.
And the Hoover, what? Sorry,
a Hoover, a vacuum cleaner to the American folks, because I was broke and I kept looking and the Shark ones were going super fast. Everyone was buying them. I was like, oh, but is Shark any good? And I saw this Hoover that was discounted in the Amazon warehouse and I thought, oh, should I get that? And I looked elsewhere in England. AO.com had it for like half the price, and then I bought it and then it went like twice the price about an hour later. So I don't know if I got a deal or whether I just got hoodwinked, but it came today and I hoovered my entire house with joy because I was like, oh, it's a new toy. And so doing housework, I was testing out how long does the battery last. It's got a light on the front, like which accessory does what, how good is it at suction, how many times do I have to empty the bag. And these were all like really exciting things that in a week will not be exciting anymore. But
and now you're telling people about it on a podcast.
Yeah, because I'm like, wow. Like, all right, just a vacuum a day will keep the dirt devil away. Like, all right, cool. Yeah,
I'm very tired.
Yes, you and me both, brother. I didn't see anything that I personally didn't buy anything this Prime Day. It's been 2 years since I've felt the need to buy something from Prime Day, and that was my OLED TV. That is still my proudest Prime Day purchase. I didn't see anything that I particularly needed. I saw some great deals on laptops.
You don't need a laptop.
I don't need a laptop. I am awash in laptops. I am awash in headphones. I am awash in speakers. And I don't necessarily need a new TV yet. I could be talked into it.
You don't need one, Sherri. You've got 7. You don't need a new TV.
I was looking for a good OLED deal. I didn't see any great OLED deals this time.
I would hold out until Black Friday because that's when I got a 55-inch LG for $1,200, and now that Vizio is getting into the game and they're starting at $100 cheaper than you get the normal OLED. I think that when Black Friday rolls around, that's going to be the time to strike.
Yeah, I saw I think it was a CX OLED in America had a fairly good deal. But yeah, you always wonder, is it going to be better somewhere else in a TV? Yeah, I mean, even I've never lived in America during Black Friday. Well, that's not true. I have the last 3 years, literally what I've done. But in terms of like embedding myself in the TV buying culture, from what I understand, it's the time to do it. It's the old Thanksgiving-y moment. So I think that's enough time on the last 2 days. Let's move on to things that actually happened as well. The OnePlus 88. Pexy.
Yeah, the OnePlus 8T, that is the letter T. We've had some discussions about that for the last few days. So yeah, this is the latest flagship phone from OnePlus, 6 months after the OnePlus 8. Very similar spec to what we saw on the last generation phone, but it is slightly cheaper in the UK and in the US as well. Actually, it's $50 and £50 cheaper. It has a 120 hertz display. It's the same 6.5 inch screen that was on the last device, but the 120 hertz is the upgrade here. And a few other tweaks. There's a slightly bigger battery, and I've been using it for over a week now, and I found battery life to be just slightly better than the OnePlus 8, so that makes sense. Generally, another fantastic phone from OnePlus, and quite remarkable that they've managed to reduce the price. It's not the same for that in every market. I know, for example, in India, it is actually more expensive than the OnePlus 8 was. We've not really had a clear reason for that from OnePlus yet, but yeah, if you are in the UK or the US and you're looking for a new Android phone, this is going to be one of the best ones of the year, essentially. I gave it 4.5 stars and I recommended on TechRadar, and I think that is similar to what most critics are giving it across the board.
Doesn't matter, Pexy. You're your own man.
Yeah,
Whatever
yeah.
you think is right.
Yeah, you're right. Actually, yeah, go and buy one if you want one. So they didn't do a OnePlus 8T Pro this year. The reasoning from OnePlus was that they are waiting to do another, like essentially, I can't remember the exact quote, but they're saying that they want to have a really big upgrade for it in the OnePlus 9. So basically, an admission that they didn't really have much that they could change on this device, and instead they brought the 8T in line with the 8 Pro, essentially.
And Sean, we now know you as a Pixel stalwart. I mean, have you seen the Pixel 5 emerging? What do you think about this phone now that it's been reviewed by the wider tech press? Have you seen it, first of all? Because I'm dropping on the spot here because we have not prepared for this podcast.
The Pixel 5?
Yeah.
I have not had it in person yet. No, sorry, I wasn't sure if you were talking about the 8T or the Pixel 5 there. No, I'm still waiting to have my Pixel 5 arrive. So I look forward to seeing it. But that whole area is incredibly interesting this year. That 700 to 800 basically price range is just a wild battlefield, whereas that has been sort of no man's land in previous years.
But we can't call it anything though, because everyone says the mid range. No one knows what the mid range means to the average consumer. They understand flagship, they understand cheap phone. Mid range is just like what? I don't know, like the OnePlus mid-range competitor. Whatever.
I like saying affordable flagship, but that's kind of a nonsense thing. But
Yep.
I mean, it's sort of, I mean, it at least gives it. I think it conveys the right idea. It's like you're getting a lot of flagship specs, but it's affordable.
Remember when $800 was the flagship range? Remember
Exactly.
Those were the days. Now it's just like, oh, the $800 one is the affordable one. I actually did touch the Pixel 5 because I had a few of our colleagues over for my birthday, which was last week, and I made them a sumptuous feast. And one of your TechRadar folks had it with him. I am surprised how light and slim those phones are. I'm very intrigued. I like the way that the polycarbonate back felt. It's very grippable, if that makes sense. It just feel like when you touch it, you're just like, oh, like you're not expecting it to be as light as it is, but it's not one of those flimsy, I should just chuck it now type of lights, but it is a very light phone.
I mean, it's not. Has it got 5G? Because it's not the lightest 5G phone in the world, is it? As we know.
Not now. It may have been when it launched, because it launched a couple of weeks before the iPhone, but yeah, not anymore.
Yeah. Sorry, you were going to say I just jumped in. Sorry, Pexy. Carry on.
I can't remember what I was going to say now because my brain is just broken.
Big podcast this week. Big podcast.
I think I was agreeing basically on the polycarbonate back. It does feel like a light, and it probably doesn't feel as premium as most people who are spending that amount of money on a phone.
I disagree with that.
Really?
I disagree with that. It doesn't feel cheap. Like for it to be polycarbonate, it doesn't feel like.
I'm not saying it feels cheap. I'm saying it probably doesn't feel. People are expecting a glass or a metal back whenever they buy a flagship phone. I'm not saying it feels cheap. I'm saying it feels different to what people would expect.
It's not bad, but different.
Well, it's odd in the sense that it's not. I mean, it has a metal back. It just has that resin coating over it that's giving it that feel. So it does technically have the rigidity of a metal phone. You just get an odd feel because of that resin coating, so that they can still deliver the wireless charging through the metal back.
Smart. I think the main thing as well that's happened this week. I say the main thing. Like one of the other things. The Xbox Series X previews came out today because we are recording later because of Prime Day and iPhone. So we got the chance to actually report on something on time. How exciting. Sherri, you like Xboxes, X-buys. Are you buying the Xbox Series X? Do the previews make you even more?
Oh yeah. I'm getting all the consoles. I am a collector. All shall be mine. All shall live somewhere in my domicile.
And did the previews change your mind about anything with this? You've seen them come out, or they just corroborate what everyone's really been saying so far already?
It really didn't matter. I was going to get them regardless. Nothing that was going to be said was going to keep them out of my home. So I've already done my pre-orders. I will have both. I'm going to have a PlayStation 5, and life will be happy and full of gaming as it should be.
But how can you play two at once? It's crazy.
I don't sleep.
That has been confirmed. So the podcast itself will probably suffer because just one day you just be like, nah, just not going to turn up, just going to sleep on through.
No, like working many years of CES with my former editor Mark Spoonhour, great guy. Like I have been trained to like the fear of oversleeping and appointment or missing embargo has put the fear of God in me enough that it has lasted well into now. So like that's why I heard that alarm, because it's like, oh well, theoretically I have to wake up and check in, so let's do that. Oh snap, let me jump on the podcast.
I mean, I was aware the podcast was happening, but I did get caught in hoovering. So I only got like a 10-minute alert on my watch to say, hey, podcast. I was like, quick, better run. And I hadn't had a sandwich. I made a sandwich. There you are. Facts all around. Pexy, what do you think about the Xbox Series X? I feel like it's weird because all these previews have turned up, but so much has been sort of dribbled out about it. It doesn't feel like much of a reveal, does it?
It hasn't thrilled me in terms of like it's not like everything's dropped at once. Obviously, over the last few weeks, we've seen how backwards compatible games and how all of that works at the same sort of time. I have a PS5 pre-order, and at the moment, I think I'm going to keep that PS5 pre-order.
Do you?
I do.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Well done.
Yeah, I managed to get in there on day 2 somehow. Managed to actually finally do it. Managed to like sneak into Curry's, all thanks to Samuel Roberts, shout out, who managed to find a backdoor into Curry's system somehow. So yeah, managed to grab that on on the pre-order day. But yeah, at the moment, the Xbox hasn't convinced me that I should be switching over to that. But yeah, I'm not going to be buying both like Sherri, but let's maybe in the future I'll look towards the digital Xbox or something as well, so I can have both.
But if people are interested in the new Xbox, it's broadly much more positive, I think, than I have seen for previous Xboxes in the years gone by. You know, the sort of the quick resume, the switching between games, the backwards compatibility. These have all been things that people have lauded, as well as obviously the really strong gameplay, which we would have expected and understood anyway. But it seems like the Xbox Series X and probably the PS5 have brought a lot of things that people actually need in their console nowadays. Be able to switch quickly between games, like I said, having that vast library behind you, and just being that much more accessible. Yeah, everyone agrees.
Yes, I do. And I think if people aren't excited about the Series X now, they will be when all those games from all those development houses that Microsoft purchased will start releasing their games, and that's gonna be the biggest X factor here. I made it funny.
So
just to confirm, I'm laughing at your laugh, not your joke.
Like, but
we're so tired.
It's gonna be interesting to see what the model is going to be, especially with the purchase of ZeniMax, which is Bethesda. Is Microsoft going to be a benevolent god and say, hey, we won't make this exclusive, you've of course got to pay us? Or are they going to say, all right, it's going to be a timed exclusive, you still got to pay us? Or C, it's just going to be an exclusive, screw you guys, we're going home type of deal. So it's like that's going to be the real variable as we launch this new next gen console war. Like, what is Xbox going to do with the heavy hitters that is purchased? Because that Bethesda purchase, that was a big feather in Xbox's cap, and it's going to be interesting to see what they are going to do with it, because they might be able to. And D, something I didn't even think of, they might not make everything exclusive, but they might force Sony's hand to finally join the world of cross-platforming or cross-play.
Fingers crossed. I feel
Fingers crossed.
I mean, this could be the last generation of actual stuff that has that kind of standalone partisan tribal nature of it, and you know, the whole cloud gaming, be able to move the liberation of gaming from just being stuck in front of your TV with a cord to being able to play it anywhere. I mean, all the smartphone manufacturers, Nintendo, Apple, and Samsung especially, have gone big on 5G and gaming in the future. I think that's going to be a big part of it. But yeah, this could be the last time we see this kind of traditional launch cycle for consoles. But we said that with the PS4, so what do we know? Sean, before we get onto the news blast, which I'll be honest is going to be fun, what's been big in your week apart from the things we've spoken about? I feel like we haven't really got to know Sean today.
Anything else big in my way? I don't know that I had anything else big going on in my week. Those were all the major events. I prioritize smartphones for our coverage, so the iPhone 12 and the 8T were pretty big news for me.
And what's your favorite thing that's happened this week then, rather than like the stuff we've already covered?
Outside of what we've already covered, or among what we've already covered?
Hey, whatever. Have you had a good sandwich this week? Have you really enjoyed a big box set? I don't know. What's it been?
I don't think I had anything crazy happen this week. Yeah, it was Prime Day dominated my universe, and then I occasionally would get interspersed with a phone announcement, so to wake me from my deals focused reverie, and then
a little spoiler.
Yeah, that was my entire week. I feel like I had some sushi at one point to tide me over. That was nice, actually.
Pex, did you get the wing yet?
The LG Wing, yeah, we've had it.
So they sent you a video in a box?
No, I haven't had that.
So I just got the wing because I'm gonna help Sean out with phone reviews. I just got it yesterday, and they sent this, and it's literally a video in a box.
Oh, nice.
Hold up to the camera. I can't quite see it.
For our listeners, that is basically like a when you open a greetings card and it starts singing to you, but instead there's an actual screen showing off what the phone looks like as well.
Wow,
incredible! And that's the highlight of your week. Is that what you're saying?
Well, that and my bestie in the whole world sent me chocolate martinis mix for my birthday.
Nice.
Because she loves me and she knows what I like. So I'm very excited to sit back and tie one on. This weekend I plan to drink myself into oblivion and smoke one of the last Cubans that I have. I'm so very sad about it. What are y'all? Speaking of which, one of y'all over in the UK needs to ship me some cigars because I'm running low and it's not okay.
I'm not sure we're allowed to. I think that's smuggling.
Nah.
Come on, Gareth, be cool. Right, we are getting through this podcast today, and as we've mentioned, we have not planned this week. So the news blast, usually we have obviously the stories queued up. We started this podcast, no one had been down to do this, so I'm going to do it again. It's a friendly, so it doesn't count for the actual leaderboard because I'm going to make up this week's tech. That's right.
Snap.
It's a news blast made up, and I'm going to start by eating a big bit of sandwich, which I've just dropped on the bed.
While you eat that sandwich, I'll just do a disclaimer for our listeners that none of the words that Gareth is about to say for the next 60 seconds are accurate or true.
No. Can someone time me?
This is what happens. Yeah, where's my phone?
Any resemblance to tech, real or fake, is purely coincidental.
that should be the name of this podcast.
And no animals were hard.
Well, that should be the tagline. All right, and I'm counting you down in 3, 2, 1.
Amazon Halo is actually a band that goes around your finger and Jeff Bezos will pop out like a hologram. Amazon has also bought GTA 6 from Rockstar and it's going to start doing that instead for Prime Day. Assassin's Creed Valhalla has come to PC, but it's actually made of cheese. Sonic 2 was free for Sega's 60th birthday, but unfortunately Mario came in and killed Sonic, and that's the first disclaimer I've ever seen. Samsung and Facebook have teamed up to bring a new set of chocolates to the market. They're called Samchocs. Apple is going to finally be on launching the VR headset, but unfortunately it goes on your feet, so you can't see anything. Facebook is teaming up with Microsoft to do a new version of Facebook. It's just green. It's exactly the same, but everyone thinks it's different. I don't know. I'm trying to think of another brand right now. Sharp is making pencils that actually can teleport into the future. Sharp actually started making pencils. Fun fact. Nintendo is bringing back playing cards, and they can actually be used as weapons as well, like that bloke in X-Men, because we throws them around. Water bottles are going to become even smarter in the future because they're getting wraparound OLED TVs from LG, but it doesn't know how to do it, so it's just pushing Samsung to do the problem. Okay, fine. I started looking at things I could see.
Oh, you started Kaiser Sose stuff. Okay, cool. So again, none of that news is real. Please don't take that for gospel. This is the delirium tremens version of the news blast. We are very sleep deprived and therefore very silly.
And also my brain, I'm so hot right now because my brain was also trying to process like libel during that. So like, even if it's fake, I'm not sure. You got to be careful with these things. So just to be clear, for lawyers disclaiming, I did make that up. I can't even remember what I said. There's something about chocolate.
Something about chocolate. Sonic was murdered.
Apple VR sneakers sound solid.
Yeah. Sharp is making future pencils, and
Sharp did start making pencils though. That's a fact.
You said that. You're like, fun fact.
Yeah. Cool. Right. Okay. We have got a few minutes left, and we still have to always do the unpopular opinion. So, Sherri, kick us off with the jingle.
Unpopular opinions, let your hate unfurl. Right now, I wish I was sleeping, but I'm here right now. I'm mad about that.
Has anyone got an unpopular opinion?
Maybe this is a popular one, but I'm gonna throw it out, and you guys can tell me if this is popular or not. But
I'm gonna disagree with you for the sake of the podcast, whatever it is.
Okay, cool. The iPhone 12 shouldn't come in 64GB. That's ridiculous. That the iPhone 12 mini and the iPhone 12 are still available in 64GB options. There is still some Android phones that come in those, but all of them have micro SD support, and also they are much more affordable phones than the £699 iPhone 12s. So there's my big opinion for the week. I'm still angry about it. It's been 2 days. I'm still angry.
I agree with that hot take.
Okay.
Apple is always the last one. They will sit there and nickel and dime the hell out of you. Hey, do you remember the fight it was to get them to stop selling 16 gigs? Remember how long?
And 8. Yeah,
the 5C had 8 gigs and you couldn't install it basically.
And it took thousands of think pieces and customers like what the hell, Apple, and they just continue that trend because they know that they know that you're gonna buy it. They know they have you over the barrel. And it's okay, well, I guess I'll get this. It's better than nothing. I guess I'll use iCloud. But no, stop doing it. Join the 21st century. Stop nickeling. It's bad enough that they're not going to be including the charger. And yes, I get it. The environment, and I as much as I am a fan of the environment,
Greta.
I'm okay, but that's not going to stop you from charging an arm, a leg, and a newborn babe for when someone actually needs the damn controller. I mean, the damn charger. And you didn't have to, and you still had the big brass balls to keep it a lightning charger. So you know that folks are going to have to buy it from you because who else, whereas the rest of the world, everything else, Android's on USB-C. Laptops are on USB Type-C. You know who else is joining the USB Type-C bandwagon? Xbox. I have the Elite 2 controller. That's being charged by USB Type-C. But for some reason, you folks that choose Apple, y'all are still tied to this proprietary charging system. And they're we're not even going to put it in the box for you. Under the guise of the environment. But that whole phone is made out of conflict stuff. But, the charger is where we draw the line, folks. The charger. Stop the bull. It's a money grab.
I mean, the thing is, both sides are true. It is in terms of saving a lot of money for Apple. And I think it's really unfair that there's not a price reduction because of it. Or maybe there is in the system somewhere, but you'd expect there to be, it'd be great if there was an option to be right, okay, you can have the iPhone for cheaper if you don't want the charger, or you can have it for normal price. That would be a great compromise. You can't argue with the fact that, all the things that they've dropping out there. So the earphones, a lot of people do use them, but a lot of people have got them already. And the charger charging block. Normally, I'd say, yeah, a lot of people don't have that. So a lot of people already have that, and there's loads around the house to do that quite easily, and people are getting used to it. And also the fact the box can be smaller, that, in terms of logistics, that genuinely can save a lot of things. So the fact about, 450,000 cars off the road, that is a fact, and that is a good thing, no matter the reason for it and how annoyed it makes people. That is just a good thing. However, you talk about USB-C not being on the iPhone. It's just on the other end of the cable that you get in the box. And no one's got a USB-C charging block because they're new.
Yeah. If you're upgrading from an iPhone 8 or something, you don't have that charging block. You don't have the right thing. So you then do have to go buy one, which I checked earlier this week. I think it's $19 on the Apple Store.
Yeah, and you can get
for a charging block. Which
I'm going to tell you what just happened in my brain. I was like, oh yeah, but I did see some really good deals for USB-C charging blocks from the third-party vendors. And I was like, oh, I can tell you about it. I was like, no, it's in there. It's happened.
If this was 100% about the environmental aspect of it, Apple would include a voucher or something inside the box of the phone, which you could then go and trade for a charger for free. And then it's not packaged into every single box, but you still get your charger if you want to go and collect one. No, instead you need to spend $19. I agree that it's half and half. It is a good thing for the environment, but Apple have not gone the right way around doing it, in my opinion.
Cool. And opinions they are. I don't know if they're unpopular, but we have had opinions, so I feel like we have contractually achieved every part of this podcast. Sean, I can only apologise for you debuting on this one. You've been excellent, of course, but I feel like we haven't really cut up our side of the bargain. I just realised I thought you were wearing a blazer the whole way through this, and I felt bad that you'd got really smart for it, but you're just wearing a really nice shirt.
Just a shirt, yeah. No, I wouldn't do that.
Sean's a very spiffy dresser. It's very understated,
I can tell.
but very spiffy nonetheless.
In fact, I didn't quite look, but his aura gave me the fact that he was wearing a blazer, because that makes sense. Look at him. He's
the freshest daisy out of this crappy flower box right now, because the rest of us are just wilted beyond recognition.
Well, it's tough for us because we're in England. Obviously, we're global as well. Like, I'm over here doing English things, but on US time. messes with the body clock.
Just drinking tea all the time.
Yeah, exactly. I did drink a lot of tea, I'll be honest, just recreationally sometimes, just to have something to leave the room. And also to give me a reason to hydrate. Anyway, that's been the Noise Cancelling Podcast episode. I no idea. 12, maybe 38, something like that.
Again, it's been 84 years.
Sean, have you had an okay time?
Yeah, it's been great. Enjoy myself. Commiserate with people who are, suffering perhaps more greatly than I have. So, it makes me feel all right about the week.
I mean, for all the stuff we said, it's not really commiseration in the sense of, it is great to, band together the team and to do this. And these are big things. And the reason we do them is because there's just so many people want to read about this stuff. That is the exciting bit. It's just they're all together. They're all together. But please, why?
Don't do this again next year, please, Amazon.
I mean, yeah, exactly. Or the virus. Hey, virus, can you please not do this next year?
It would have been so bad. What I missed this Prime Day is being in the war room. I missed that camaraderie. It's always a good time. And even if it's not a good time and we're getting swamped and covered by deals, at least there's somebody to the right or left of you that's sharing that burden, and you're eating pizza with them, and we're listening to someone's weird taste in music. Hey, have you heard this nerdcore? And we're all like, what? And then after a while, we're all like, yeah, nerdcore. And you just get a little weird with your coworkers. It's a really cool bonding experience. And that's what I miss the most about Prime Day. That and the wacky stories I would get from coming into Prime Day, since I worked the midnight shift. Last year when I was coming in, I saw a guy, and he was shirtless, or so I thought. And as my view expanded, and I really started taking, my brain was like, no, danger. I noticed that he was not totally nude, but he was nude except for a little coin purse covering his bait and tackle. And he had, and
what is happening?
I thought we were saying goodbye.
Wait a minute. And then, like, when I really started paying attention, because now I'm just like, what? He had his clothes and his shoes, and they were all neatly folded under his arm, and he had this look like he had just seen the lights or some epiphany, like he had just emerged from Plato's cave, and he was walking towards Times Square like he was about to deliver the truth to us all. And there was a family of European tourists behind me, blonde, like really blonde, like Village of the Damned blonde. And they're looking at me like, do you see this? I'm like, man, listen, yes, I do. But if you're like me, who's live here, you will act like you don't see it because you don't know. His clothes were folded so neatly, and he just little coin purse for his bits, and he's just walking towards Times Square. And I just missed those type of stories for Prime Day.
the greatest deal of all.
Cool. We have to wrap up because we have run way over time. Sean, thank you for joining us. I can only apologise for your boss. If people want to get in contact with you, Sean, how can they do so? If they want to hear more from Sean's lovely tones.
I'm Riley Sean M on pretty much all social media. That's the best way to track me down, probably.
Great. Pexy, how about you?
I'm at James RWP on Twitter.
Sherri, do people want to hear more from you?
If you want to further document my descent into insanity, you can catch me on Miss Smith 11. It is MISS Smith 11 on Twitter and Instagram. Do not follow me on Facebook. Please don't. And if, of course, go to laptop. Laptop now. Laptop before. Laptop forever.
Forever. I'm Gareth Beavis, Super Beav to all the people that can find me on the socials. TechRadar's great. See you later.
Bye.
We have been the Noise Cancelling Podcast. Please subscribe, by the way, and give us good ratings. That's important. Bye.
That happens.